Om Namasarvebhyah. Today we shall be discussing Vyavastha. Vyavastha, Tritiya Vyavastha, the third way of arranging the letters, Varna. What are they? The first one was the Balhana, which was according to the familiar A, E, then to Ha using the Swara, Vyanjana, Ayogavaha category. The second one was the Utpatti Sthana based on what the where they originated, what their native was. The third one is the Maheshwara Sutra. Now this is a very concise set of sutra, which means aphorisms produced by Panini. The legend has it that it was in his Panini sat in meditation in the Himalayas, uh, concentrating his mind on Shiva for knowledge. So he was a jijnasu. He was jnatumichu. He wanted to learn something. Since he was probably that the prelude for the story would be that he was a bad student in his class in the Gurukula, and hence his classmates would mock him and make fun of him, point fingers at him for being a dull student. He wouldn't answer any questions. He couldn't understand what the grammar rules were even before Panini was. So even he had to learn some grammar rules. And so he was not a good student, it seems. And then he went to his mother, who said, you ask Jnaneshwar Shri Mahadeva, because he is the Lord of all Jnana. He is the first one, the first Guru who descended upon earth to give all of the knowledge. He is the brother of Saraswati. So if you don't like Saraswati, you can go to, if you want a masculine god, you have to go to Mahadeva. And so he went to the Himalayas, he sat in tapas, and then in meditation he heard something, this pranava that we were speaking of in the first video. The pranava, there's a modification of this pranava to mean, and it was, this sound was heard in 14 steps. Probably he associated these sounds as being the damaru, the drum beats of Shiva's trident, which is there in his trident and his hand. These drum beats in 14 steps were the sutras, the 14 sutras which he comprehended. He interpreted the sound, these 14 sounds that he heard in his meditation, and then he interpreted them as being the 14 a, e, un, rilik, etc. Right. Now, why is that arranged in that way? Is because now we are entering a domain of classical grammar, Vyakarana of Sanskritam. Now, this he seems to have arranged them in some order which would suit the application of his rules. The rule book which he has written is the Ashtadhyayi. However, whether this legend is true or not is of course questionable. But these sutras are explicitly used in his Ashtadhyayi, which is the rule book, the 8-chaptered rule book of Sanskritam. Just as a rule book for a game is there, first you write down the rules and then you start the game. Similarly, the game was already going on. He noticed the rules. No one told him the rules because he was a dull student. So he couldn't grasp them. So he made his own, he observed the game and he wrote down the rules because no one else should suffer as he did. He was as compassionate as that. And so in his rule book, he noticed that some of these swaras which was there in the previous system, the Utpatti Sthana and this one, the first and the second one, some of them actually shared a similarity. And for example, in the rule which he wanted the ha to be converted into the dha and gha, the gha, dha, and dha, he noticed that the ha was getting converted to the gha, dha, and dha. For example, in hanti, the han dhatu becomes ghata. The ha gets converted to gha. And then in driha, druh dhatu, it becomes dridha. And then in labdha, the ha gets converted to the dha. So he noticed that, and so he wanted to, in his rule book, however, he wanted his rule book to be very concise. He had to take his revenge on his classmates. He wanted to prove them wrong. He wanted them to actually fall at his feet for his intellectual capacity. Therefore, he made these rules very concise. And in fact, a person who was adept in the rules in the game itself, only he could understand what the rules actually meant. So it was the cryptic code. It was a cryptic rule book. In fact, it actually didn't serve as much purpose as a rule book should have, of saying explicitly what the rules were, but he wanted the rule book, I don't know, for whatever reason, he wanted it to be very concise. And therefore, he had to write. Now, for example, in this rule, that he noticed that ha was getting converted to gha, dha, and dha. He had to say, otherwise, not concisely, as the rule as state a rule as ha at so and so places gets converted to gha, dha, dha. And this was okay for one such rule. At other rules yet, he noticed that entire these three columns ga, gha, nga, ja, jha, nya, da, dha, na, da, dha, na, ba, bha, ma, and then ya, ra, la, va, and ha. Whenever these consonants appeared in a certain place, let's say for example, whenever these letters came in the front before a word, for example, if there are two words, word 1 and word 2, if these consonants, these 3, 4, and 5, fifth column, and then yara, lava, ha came at the beginning of the second word, then if the ta was there at the end of the first word, which means the first word ended with ta, then it had to get converted to the. Similarly with ta should have get converted to da, cha to ja, ka to ga, pa to ba, and ta to the. Just imagine stating this entire rule. He had to himself make an entire table if he had to state this rule. So he had to write down what was there at the end of first word, ka, cha, ta, ta, pa, and then he had to show what was the beginning of the second word, or write down each of these elements, ga, gha, nga, ja, jha, nya, etc. And then finally write what it had to convert to the first word. It had to convert to the third column, ga, ja, da, etc. And then the second word remained as it is. Again, write down the second word remained as ga, gha, nga, ja, jha, nya, da, da, na, etc. Now, just imagine such a rule. It was at the beginning very tedious to write down. He was very lazy. In fact, he was very lazy because for whatever reason, he wanted his rules to be very short and concise. That's it. The brevity is his motive. Then if he had to make such a rule, it would have been very tedious, and also it would have been very explicit and state the rule as is. His purpose of bringing brevity would have not been served. Therefore, he had to devise a rule, an acronym for all these letters from ga, gha, etc. to ha, yara, lava, and ha. What was that? He noticed that all of them were similar, and hence he had to devise an acronym. To just give an arbitrary acronym for it, but he didn't like being arbitrary. So he wanted it to be precise and logical. Therefore, he made the sutras themselves arbitrary. Arbitrary from the perspective of the first two systems. So he made them arbitrary. But being the source itself being arbitrary, now he could derive some logic out of these. And see, if you can notice that we were discussing the gha, dha, the first rule, the ha conversion. See, all of these three fall in just one line. So he could just say ghash, which meant gha, dha, dha. So the first and the last, like we use the capitals in English to make an acronym, we would say ghash, meaning gadhada. That was used for the her rule, the conversion of her itself. And then whatever the second rule that we were discussing, the ga, jada, etc., all of that would fall from ha, ya, vara, la. You would see that ya, vara, la, ha. And then this is the fifth line, then the third line, I mean the fourth line, the third line, the second line, the first line. So all these first 5 columns and was falling until sha. The third, the fourth, the fifth, then ha, ya, vara, la, and ha. See, from ha to sha, all of those letters which had a peculiar rule, which are applicable to that rule, were comprised. And hence he could just say ha and sha, that's it, done. Ha to sha, whatever you refer my table. No, this is my table, he says. This is my table, which is very arbitrary. I know it is arbitrary. Of course, from the point of view of the first 2 systems, it's arbitrary. But from here, from ha to sha, I would say in my use hush in my rule book. In my 8-chapter rule book, I would say hush. So you have to learn, you have to find out, refer the table here and understand that hush meaning the set of letters starting from ha and ending at sha. So it meant ha, ya, ra, la, nyamanganana, jabha, ghadada, jabagadada. Done. So with the small acronym of hush, which was in fact a good acronym, he had compressed and made his sutras very concise. So he was successful in that, in his purpose, in his goal. Therefore, he arranged the existing varna in such a format, which aided his making of his rule book and brought what he intended, making things difficult for people and his own classmates, and that purpose was very much served. Although that is a joke, in fact, Panini is regarded as the world's best grammarian, seeing his logic, seeing the way he handles using the scientific method of for constructing axioms, then reducing from those axioms, then changing his hypothesis, and so on. And he has you can see the logic in his rule book, which is very, very evident and explicit. However, you need some brains to interpret what these 14 sutras mean. And so in the upcoming videos, we shall discuss what some of the nuances behind in the Maheshwara Sutra. How much of brain has gone into constructing these 14 sutras. We may say that according, if you believe in the legend, that it came from Shiva, but I wouldn't believe such legends. So I would better appreciate the human intellect of the genius of Panini. Before that, let's just go through the sutras once, and in the next videos we shall discuss some of the nuances in the preparation, behind the scenes of the 14 sutras. So a, I, un, rilik, e, ong, I, ouch, haya, varat, lan, nyamangananam, jabang, ghadadash, jabagadadash, kapa, cha, ta, ta, cha, ta, tau, kapai, sha, sha, sar, hal. Once again, a, I, un, rilik, e, ong, I, ouch, haya, varat, lan, nyamangananam, jabang, ghadadash, jabagadadash, kapa, cha, ta, ta, cha, ta, tau, kapai, sha, sha, sar, hal. Once again, a, I, un, rilik, e, ong, I, ouch, haya, varat, lan, nyamangananam, jabang, ghadadash, jabagadadash, kapa, cha, ta, ta, cha, ta, tau, kapai, sha, sha, sar, hal. Now, the advantage of learning Sanskritam is you can fool people and scare them by using these sutras as mantras, as though you are cursing them using some bijaksharas, etc. I would promise you these are completely harmless. These are very innocent. The sutras from the previously dull-minded Panini, who later became the supremely genius grammarian. So I would promise you that all of these are very harmless and you can pronounce them wherever you want. But of course, with a little bit of respect within you for the genius of Panini. Let's discuss the nuances in the next coming videos. Dhanyavadaha.